can start with the Kioptrix level 3. So जब आप इस मशीन को इंस्टॉल करो तो रिमेंबर वन थिंग कि यहाँ पे दो फाइल्स आएगी, आपकी एक OVA फाइल आएगी जो हमें इंस्टॉल करना, एक होगी आपकी फिक्स फाइल। फिक्स फाइल में आपको जाना है mounting.png पे। क्यों? बिकॉज जब आप उसे लोड करोगे तो आप देखेंगे यहाँ पे माउंट रूट लिखा होगा, क्योंकि ये आपके डिफॉल्ट करना पड़ेगा, डिफॉल्ट आपको ये लॉगिन करना ही पड़ेगा। सो यहाँ पे जो अगर आप देखो इमेज में दे रखा है UPS dev और adapter 0.2। सो आप यहाँ पे UPS /dev ADA 0p ये आपको रन करना ही पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज आपका Kioptrix नहीं चलेगा। So when you simply enter that thing, we have a proper login shell. So let's see in our Kali Linux terminal. So first of all, route -n gateway IP 192.168.0.1. So let's use net discover -i ethio -r and the subnet mask. So over here we can see our IP address, which is 109. Let's use nmap T4, capital T4, and IP address, which is 106. And side by side, what I'm going to do, I'm going to run nicto also to identify misconfiguration services, or we can start finding relevant data. 109. So the nmap scan has been done, and the port where open is port 80, which is open HTTP Apache version, and the Linux and the version of the operating system is FreeBSD. FreeBSD is also your Kali operating system with the mode SSL version. Mode SSL is your extension. Port 80 is also ready on the open HTTP Apache FreeBSD. And the 22 port is closed. There are 3 ports: port 22, port 80, and port 8080. And over here we can see the nicto scan. Nicto -h 192.168 0.109. And over here we can see PHP appears to be outdated, as we know. OpenSSL, which is your outdated. Apache version is outdated. Mode SSL is your outdated. Mode SSL 2.8.7 and lower are vulnerable to a remote buffer overflow, which may allow you to remote shell. And we can see CVM Mitra also. And over here we can see allowed HTTP methods, get, head, post, options, and trace. Let's see browser, Firefox. Okay, so over here, let's see the IP address of 109. And what we have over here, we have only it works, nothing else. Okay, so as per the data, there was PHP was running in the backend. So let's see if we can gain access of the server. So I'm going to write PHP info.php. PHP info.php didn't find. So क्या करेंगे, क्रॉल करते हैं, आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं डायरेक्टरीज एंड सब डायरेक्टरीज ऑन the server side. So for this one I'm going to use Webbuster. The target URI, the number of threads we want, and browse. So user, share, let's go to word list, Webbuster. Let's select any of this one. So we're going to use medium. As we know, this is a PHP version. This was PHP was running in the backend. So cross verification with the word web. Yes, PHP in the backend was running in the properly. So the extension will be PHP over here. And let's start. So the main objective of this Webbuster is to identify the directories and subdirectories on the server side, which can be used for the further stage. So let's see. Okay, Webbuster has paused and itself was 20 unexecuted error. So why? You can see error has been increasing because the client request has been blocking because the server works on the port number 8080. So let's do some changes over here. Let's try to connect with the port 8080. So we're gonna crawl on the port 8080. If you can see, if you can find some relevant data. Port 80 and 8080 works on a different stage. If you search for the information about the ports, we can find over here. So if you search for port 80, what is the port 80 used for? HTTP protocol. It's basically blocking the client request. See, it works on the HTTP protocol which uses TCP version 1 and 2, which is your HTTP version 3 also. For making a connection, what are the port 80 and port 3? Generally are used with the internet. Port 443 is your HTTPS and TLS SSL. But there was a port 8080 also. Common alternative HTTP port used for web traffic. See, TCP port 8081 and 8443 is used for HTTP web proxies. Web proxies for making a proper connectivity of the logs. Some broadband router runs as web server on the port 8080 also. What protocol is used by port 8080? Port 8080 is used by TCP protocol. Is the port 8080 and 8080 same? It reverses the HTTP. Port 8080 is typically used for personal hosted web server. Personally web hosted server. But the ISP restricts this type of uses of non-commercial customers. Port 80 is just the default second choice of the web server. But over here, there were two ports open, port 80 and 8080. Let's see if we can access the port 8080 over here. So over here we can see there is a forbidden is given. Forbidden. You don't have the permission to access on the environment. As per the nmap, we can see there is only three ports open. Nicto reveals that there was OpenSSL, Apache, Mode SSL version, allowed TCP, get, head and post and trace was available over there. Some directories, we didn't find any directory because the server was blocking the request. We didn't find any directory because there was a connection error, connection timeout exception. The host did not accept the connection without the timeout. The server is not accepting. Look, these are all the words which is on the server side, but it didn't accept. You can see what web analyze what other protocols are running in the server side. It was FreeBSD, Apache Server, OpenSSL, and WebDev, and the PHP. So, what could be the consequences? We have to find each and everything. For example, sometimes we have to look for the source code also. For source code, let's see source. Why we are seeing the source code? कभी-कभार क्या होता है कि जो developers होते हैं वो backend में कुछ metadata या कुछ data ऐसे छोड़ देते हैं जो कि वो भूल जाते हैं remove करना, जिसके थ्रू एक अटैक पॉसिबल हो जाता है. And there are many cases that could be happen over there. So over here, the main objective of this one is to simply identify each and every services and look for the source code also, because through the source code you will find lots of hidden informations. For example, you can see the metadata fresh. There was content URL with the PHP pchart 2.2 index.php. There was a hidden directory. So कभी-कभार क्या होता है कि सर्वर अगर कोई डेटा को एक्सेप्ट नहीं कर रहा तो डेटा बैकएंड के साइड में सोर्स कोड में कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा रिलेवेंट मिल ही जाता है. So let's copy this one and let's paste it over here. So as per the data, we are on the web application part. So we are on the application now. So first of all, before attacking part, gather some information. What exactly pchat is used for? Pchat application. You can see over here they have given pchat is a PHP classic oriented framework designed to create alias chats. Most of the days, charts libraries have a cost or project is intended to be free. Pchat is now publicly released. So it's like a normal application which can be used for chatting part. What is pchat with example? A pchat is an attribute control chat used to data collected of subgroups of variant size. Because of the subgroup size and vary, it shows appropriations of oncoming from items rather than the actual code. Okay, so this is a normal, you can see normal part. But if I'm an attacker, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do for the vulnerabilities. It was 2.1, yes. So we can see over here in the first time on the exploit DB, there are multiple PHP vulnerabilities. So multiple vulnerabilities has been given one by one. And over here, what I can see, PHP libraries, pchat is possibly previous version, by default contains an example of folders where the application is vulnerable to directory traversal and a cross-site scripting. It is possible that custom-built production code containers similar to program with the uses of library was common. Okay, there were some vulnerabilities according to there were two types of vulnerabilities. There was directory traversal attack and some cross-site scripting. So as per the data, over here, you can see the first they have given the directory traversal attack, and the second they have given the cross-site scripting attack. At the location where the attack is possible. disclosure time 2014 January 16 vulnerability confirmed vendor contact. Hello, continue. Yes, so we were on the server that we can see some vulnerabilities are over there. Or over here they have given the pchat examples index script with the etc group directory. So this was a directed traversal attack. ये वाला ये. So यहाँ पे index.php दे रखा है. So examples in the PHP question mark with action. Let's see if it works. Over here we can see that this really works. In the action we can see the view script, and over here they are encoded the /. ये आपका कुछ ऐसा होगा. This is your file inclusion vulnerability. That would be your dot // dot. And these are basically encrypted to bypass the filtered, you can say. You can simply check on the server side. You can copy this one and you can simply go to your burp suite. So we're gonna use decoder. We're gonna use the /. We're gonna use decode URL. Okay, sorry, encode URL. See, 2F. So the // is been encoded by the attacker to bypass the filter variations. तो अगर आप यहाँ पे देखो, सीधा मैं एक काम करता हूँ. मैं यहाँ पे $/ यूज करूँगा. It's been why execute because of the filters. So let's try // I guess. Sometimes the URL bypass, or sometimes we have to check one by one. Directed traversal attack is a path traversal attack where we have to jump to the specific file on the server side. So एक काम करके देखता हूँ. Still we can access the file. So our major agenda would be to identify what are the things we can learn over here on the server side. So there are various techniques that we can follow to attack part. For example, जब कभी आपको RFI मिले, so you can try on the specific parameter RFI also. Let's use HTTP raw.in. I'm going to use RFI, remote file inclusion attack. Can I run this? Okay, we are not able to run this website. Okay, I was just trying this one, if there is an RFI or not. Okay, there was an LFI vulnerability only. So over here we can see the proper values which is given. And the it is the etc password directory which contains all the usernames. तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे देखूँ, यहाँ पे root है, tor है, daemon है, operators है, these are the system users. And in the bottom of the things I can see there are some user like OSEC, OSIM, and OSEXA, and some MySQL also. So our major objective would be to identify each and everything on the server side to retrieve the data. So for that case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one by one all the things. So let's think about out of the box. So there was a port 8080 is also there. 8080 which works on your Apache server also. So let's see if we can find Apache configuration files. Apache config.files. So remember this one, this is a free BSD. Each and every architecture of Linux has a different location. So if I talk about my own Debian file, you can see there were the locations, there will be computer, there will be etc, Apache code, and the config file. So all the things are necessary over here. You can see one by one all the files. सबसे ज़्यादा important है Apache configuration file जो कि आपके environment variables set होते हैं. Environment variables की जो कौन से location में execute करेंगे. So यहाँ पे try करते हैं कि free BSD का कैसे use हो रहा है. Free BSD जो कि आपके Linux की तरह एक operating system है. FreeBSD is a free and open source Unix-like operating system descended from the Berkeley software distribution, which is based on the research Unix. So मैं यहाँ पे देखूँगा FreeBSD में Apache log locations. How do I find HTTP server logs files? Or you can say Apache configuration files. So अगर आप यहाँ पे देखो, in FreeBSD, the main Apache HTTP server configuration file is installed as user local etc Apache 2xmix22 and HTTP configured file. This is the location of your Apache server. Sometimes you have to think out of the box also. FreeBSD Apache configuration file. Which is your 22 or http.config file. So we're gonna go to the user directory, local etc http configure file. Let's see, copy this one and paste it over here. Let's see if we can access the configuration files on the server side. And yes, we can, because through the LFI we can access any of the files on the server side without any restrictions. So there are various techniques that we can do over here. So our major concern would be how we can use it for, because Apache configuration file में आप पूरे के पूरे एक कंप्यूटर एनवायरनमेंट जिसका कि पोर्ट 8080 में ये देखो पोर्ट 80 एंड 8080 सबसे ज़्यादा है कि इंफॉर्मेशन गैदरिंग करने की कौन कौन से फाइल्स हैं इसमें. अच्छा यहाँ पे एग्जांपल देखो तो मोड्स 4 फाइल्स हैं. ओके, दिस इज अ नॉर्मल थिंग. If you wish to HTTP to run in a different group, you must be run HTTP as root initially. Okay, this is a normal thing. Admin group is a normal. Port 80 example. This should be changed whether you set the document root, which is your user local www http22 data. And what else we have over here? We have position, volumes, all options, and directive are not. And we have non-HTTP multi-views. Okay, normal things. अब बात आ रही है यहाँ पे set environment. Set environment if the environment user agent is using Mozilla 4.0. Virtual host on the port 8080, which has a data of user local www apache 22 data. और यहाँ पे जो डायरेक्टरी यूज हो रही है यूजर लोकल www apache 22 में आप पूरी देख सकते हो कि ये पोर्ट 8080 आपका तभी काम करेगा जब the environment variable has been set to Mozilla 4.0 and currently we are using the 5th version. So बहुत सारे टाइम ऐसा होता है कि बहुत सारी एप्लीकेशन जो हम यूज करते हैं वो कभी कभार दूसरे एनवायरनमेंट में सेट होती है जिसके थ्रू हम उसे एक्सेस नहीं कर पाते. So on that case, what we can do, we can try to manipulate or simply change the environment variable according to the server or the application. तो उसके लिए मैं यहाँ पे जो यूज करूँगा, let's use some add-ons. So add-on में मैंने यहाँ पे user agent switcher and manager यूज किया. आप यहाँ पे अगर सर्च करोगे user agent switcher, you will find some of this one. So you guys can install this one in your local server to manipulate or look for the files on the server side one by one. जैसे कि यहाँ पे दे रखा है. I already have installed this one. See. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change my environment variable. Currently I'm using Mozilla 4.0 with the Linux version. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change the 5 and I'm going to turn it into 4. Because as per the data, it will work on the environment version 4.0. Let's see. 4 and apply. Done. Let's see if we can run this server. 109. So it's saying it works, but we're going to try the port 8080. And yes, now we can see that we have the access of index.php. And if you try the debugster over here again, let's see if debugster works. User share word list debugster. Let's see if we can find the directories now. No, we are not. We have only the access of the set environment variables. Okay, not an issue. So we can see there is a php.txt file. Okay, we have another application on the server side. Let's gather the php.txt file information. php text. Okay, when I simply open this one, I can see some vulnerabilities. php text file. Use this. Okay, we have a blog over here on the php text file. Okay, this is an okay. Okay, we can see all the vulnerabilities. So what I'm going to look over here, the PHP text. Let me tell you about the PHP text is a text, income tax department application that can be used for finding, documenting all the PDF files according to the users. See, you can simply zoom it in. This is a US individual income tax return. You can see all the things is given over here. So view PDF. The PDF was unfold. This is a normal PDF. So as per the attacker, what I can do, I can simply search for some vulnerabilities over there. So let's search for search exploit PHP text. And what we have over here, we have execution of remote code execution in the Metasploit, and we have file manipulation, which is new level remote code execution, and some other remote code execution. These are two text files, and over here we can see there's an RB file. So इसे copy करके देखते हैं. -x the path. So this is a normal Ruby file. So this file is a part of Metasploit framework and may be subject to the distribution. So they have given some exploit codes over here. If the target URL path is 101, path type PDF, payload, okay. Okay, let's try with the Metasploit, I guess. Okay, search PHP text. Okay, we have only one exploit code. So use exploit code, options. What do we have? We have our host and the port number. So we're gonna use the port 8080 because we're gonna specify the port number because it was on the port 8080. SSL false. PHP text. Yes, the target URL was PHP text as per the URL. Let's try this one. Set our host 192.168.0.109. Next is your R port. (8080) options. Over here we can see the target ID has been set and the port 8080. Two things has been set properly. So our major concern would be, let's try the exploit if it works or not. So अगर मैं यहाँ पे देखूँ set reverse TCP double handler 192.168.0.114 जो कि मेरे खुद के लोकल सर्वर में है. Sending a request connection to the client. First client connection accepted. Second client accept. First and second. Then command echo. File has been written. Writing a socket A and socket B. A socket connection. Reading from the sockets from the file name. Again, there is a new file with creating a socket connection. Socket connections are over here too. It's made to the connectivity of the files. Connection बनाने के लिए. और यहाँ पे read new lines दे रखी है यहाँ पे as per the data. So मैं अगर यहाँ पे देखूँ command shell open हो चुका है. तो मैं अगर यहाँ पे लिखूँ who am I can see www data. I can see proper who am I command code execution. I'm so sorry. So what we can do, we're gonna try our got milk and fire. So first thing first, let's have a TTY. Let's copy this one. And over here, who am I? What I'm going to do, I'm going to use which command to find Python. No Python command. Okay. Do we have which wget? No. Which GCC? So which command is running? I thought that in the Linux they will not use which. User bin GCC apply, but there is no Python on the server side. So let's use echo command to execute bin bash. Okay. Syntax error. Okay, let's use bin sh. We have a dollar over there. So at least I have a dollar to check. Okay, no terminal export. Okay, so export term xterm environment according to the server. That's clear. Okay, now I can see the files over there. So what are we gonna do? I'm gonna run a bin bash command. Let's see if we can run bin bash. No, not bin bash found. I'm gonna code brown shell. So our main target would be to identify what other vulnerabilities services are there. So I'm gonna run the first command. Oh, on this machine, you can see there's two vulnerabilities that you're gonna check, and those vulnerabilities are the kernel exploitation. Kernel exploits are the program that leverage the kernel vulnerabilities in order to execute arbitrary code with the valid permissions. Successfully, kernel exploit typically give an attacker super user. In many cases, escalating through the root of the Linux system is as simple as downloading a kernel exploit to the target system and compiling the exploit with the security. So my major concern would be to identify the services. So let's check the command cat etc release. Nope. Cat etc issue. Okay, it's not running. So I'm gonna go to the directory manually. PWD, I'm in the etc directory, ls and all. Let's check one by one all the files. Updates, okay. Okay, there was no release version over here. Anything related to release. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do? Okay, I'm gonna directory side. I'm gonna use uname-. So uname-a is simply saying 9.2, 9.0 release free BSD. Release free BSD. So we have the kernel version. So let's look for the kernel version if you can find. Free BSD 9.0 exploit. And we can check the first one. So this is a kernel exploit. This exploit based on the open source project. I make it in open to right now. It's not blaming on the sourcing exploit. Okay, let's download this application. Let's use an exploit folder. Oh, I already have that file. So let's transfer this file over here. So I guess we're gonna use Rocknock file transfer. Transferring files from Linux to Windows post exploitation phase. So as I mentioned before, there are around 4 types of different that we can use it for: HTTP, FTP, TFTP, assembly, and some other. So one by one, all the things can be necessary. So let's check the HTTP part. So I'm going to use the Python server on this specific one. So let's use this one. So let's work on the port 80. So I simply created on the port 80. So let's start ANTUT, and in the backend I can see the port 80 is running over there with the Python server. So our major concern would be how we're gonna use it for to identify the services one by one. So for that case, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run, let's see. Yes, I can see my files over there. So pwd cd temp, as we know. Okay, I already have transferred the files, but over here we're gonna remove all the files. Now the files has been removed, so the main concern, I'm gonna use the wget command to fetch the file. So HTTP 192.168.110 with the / and the file type. So the file name was 28718 dots wget command not fail. So what I'm going to do, let's gather the information. Wget alternative free BSD. Okay, this is a different one. Some FreeBSD embedded system, example, do not have curl and wget installed by default, but fetch command. Okay, would it possible to as this well? We need to get in post files. Over there, they are using fetch command instead of wget. So let's use fetch and the URL. Yes, the fetch command works. So let's clear this one. ls-all, and what I can see, the file has been over there with the .c, which is a C compiled file. So what I'm going to do, as we know that we need GCC. So GCC is installed over there. So for that case, I'm going to run GCC to compile my file. So GCC-o output, I'm going to name this one exploit, and the file name. Okay. The tab command didn't work. So what was the name of that file? Okay, that was 28718.c file. No input file specified. Okay. 28178. Okay. So GCC -o output, name this one X, and the file name 28718.c. Now I guess it's done. Yes, we can see the file has been compiled. So it has been execution permission. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run this command. Okay, so it's been and run. So who am I? And I can see that I am user root. Let's run. Let's go to the root directory to get the final flag. cat.comrade.txt. As I have mentioned you everything that Kioptrix is the series which completes all the vulnerabilities, different kinds of vulnerabilities in different modes. There are various techniques that can be followed, but all we have is to understand how the exploit works and what are the further things we need for exploiting part. Over here, we have tried the exploit of kernel exploitation part, and this was the final series of your Kioptrix. Hope you have enjoyed this as a game of mine. As always, there are made of the bringer in the mind and not meant to be seasoned for industry. See this one. The username loneferret as a chiropractic.com. Feel free to explore the systems and other logs to see how noisy or the client you were. And again, thank you for taking the time of the day. Noisy means your log analysis part. It's all about your access logs. Through access log, you can identify what other services, what other attacks has been possible by this attacker to simply enumerate some data. There are different kinds of techniques that can be used over there. But the most important part is to understand how it works.